Professor Chavez, the congregation is formed.
Good morning. Buenos dias. It's great to see you all. So happy to have you all here. Isn't it great to be back in person? We haven't done this in a while. So I'm so excited to be here for this wonderful event on behalf of the faculty of the Department of Mexican American and Latino Studies, as well as the Latino Studies leadership team, which includes Center for Mexican American Studies Director, Maggie Rivas Rodriguez, and the Latino Research Institute Director, Dr. Deborah Paramedina, which are all a part of the College of Liberal Arts here at the University of Texas at Austin, as well as the Latino Studies staff, without which none of this would be possible. We welcome you to the 2023 MALS graduation ceremony. My name is Karma Chavez, and I am the chair of the department. This year's graduation ceremony marks our 28th anniversary as the academic unit of the University of Texas at Austin Latino Studies that studies the lives, histories, and cultures of Mexican Americans and Latinos and educates students in those areas. We have partnered with the Center for Mexican American Studies to continue the tradition of hosting this graduation ceremony, so for almost 30 years. And as I said, it has been a while. We haven't had a MALS graduation like this since 2019. And so our lives have, of course, changed in unimaginable ways since then, and it's great to be back with all of you. Faculty and staff, and family and friends of the graduates, I want you to fix your eyes on the class of 2023 and acknowledge the hard yet amazing work that they have done to get here. Students, you have earned degrees in the most unprecedented of times, facing hardships that no one before you has ever faced. And now it is your moment to be recognized by the community that has been a part of the process during the long hours of studying and staying up late to complete your assignments, figuring out how to turn your bedroom into a classroom for Zoom University, and hoping your loved ones would stay safe and healthy. Let us recognize your accomplishments. We can do that. We can clap now. I, for one, cannot wait to see what you're going to do in your next phase. I'm also convinced that before us are graduates that not only realize that Mexican American and Latino studies is a pivotal area of study that will prepare them to best grapple with the ongoing attacks that our communities are enduring during these difficult times, but they understand that to fulfill the university's mission in the world, Latinas and Latinos need to be at the center. Whatever path you have chosen to take after this weekend, we know that your knowledge, sense of social justice, and commitment to your communities will help shape this world into something better, because you've already been doing that work. Your degree will now enable you to multiply these efforts into the future. At this time, I would like to turn your attention to the stage, and I would like to acknowledge some special guests. First, I would like to acknowledge our Marshal and distinguished colleague, Dr. Maggie Rivas Rodriguez. I would also like to acknowledge Dr. Richard Flores, who is a deputy to President Hartzell. Additionally, we have Dr. Steve Holscher, who is an associate dean in the College of Liberal Arts. And we also have with us Dr. Roxanne Schroeder-Arce, who is an associate dean in the College of Fine Arts. Thank you all for joining us today for this ceremony. Behind me also are the accomplished MALS faculty, men and women who have taught these graduates when they were enlisted in their classes or under their supervision. They have listened to their concerns, they have guided them in making difficult choices, they've written letters of recommendation for you, and they will continue to do so, so don't hesitate to ask, even after you graduate. So I want to take the chance to introduce you to our faculty. And so we have Dr. Danielle Cleland. We have Dr. Angela Ocampo. We have Dr. Richard Grijalva. We have Dr. Deborah Barramedina. Dr. CJ Alvarez. You already met Dr. Flores, so we've got Dr. Lilia Rosas. We have Dr. Rachel Gonzalez Martin. And Dr. Antonio Vasquez. While my fine colleagues sitting before the students have been influential and formative in helping usher the graduates of 2023, those seated behind you, your parents, your families, and your friends, have made all of this possible. You have granted us the privilege of having these students in our educational care for these past years, and we are so grateful that you have entrusted us. You are so much of the reason why these students have been so successful, and they have been so successful. Students, will you please rise and give a round of applause to those who've joined you here today? The graduation ceremony that brings us together today does not occur out of the blue. It is with the preparation and planning of a team of dedicated staff in Latino Studies, and I just want to take a moment to acknowledge them because their labor is not invisible. I want to thank Katie Buchanan, Luis Guevara. Yeah, go ahead. Ashley Nava Monteros. Alex Palacios, Mara Baladeras, Michael Lopez, and everybody else who's in here doing stuff for us that are part of the Student Activities Center. We're grateful to the labor of everyone who makes this possible. I printed on double-sided, which is always a bad idea because you might end up too far in the ceremony. So I'll go to the right page now. So at this time, I would like to take a moment to introduce our student speaker for today. Our student speaker is Leslie Chavez Valencia. Leslie is both a MALS Distinguished Graduate and a Dean's Distinguished Graduate, which is a big thing. She's also a triple major in sociology, race, indigeneity, and migration, and Mexican American and Latino studies. She's a Mellon Mays undergraduate fellow and currently an intern with the Rappaport Center for Human Rights and Justice. And she's the best of the best and makes us very proud. So I would like to welcome Leslie to the stage to give an address to all of you.
Hello. So before I start, I really want to thank the MALS department for choosing me and inviting me to speak today. It's really a huge honor to be a part of the department and to have the opportunity to speak up here and also share space with you all. So as a student speaker, I was asked to reflect on my experience as a UT student. For a while, I reflected and contemplated on my experience as I wanted to curate a speech that made sense and also was applicable to most students here at UT. Sacrifice. That is a theme I found parallel across my experience at UT and in discussion with my peers. As evident in discourse inside and outside of the four walls of the classroom, folks highlight the importance of acknowledging that it took sacrifice to be here. The very presence of an individual at UT signifies sacrifice, as that is what it ultimately took to enable one to be in this position. I know this to be true, as since I can remember, my life has felt like a tug-of-war between sacrifices. From the sacrifice my family made to come to a new country, to sacrificing to an unknown and unfamiliar when deciding to take a leap of faith and attend UT. I, and many in this room, can recall sacrifices that were made for us to be sitting in these very chairs. The experience of a first-gen UT student is one enveloped in sacrifice, both done by the individual and outside forces. Now, I say this without exclusively focusing on the negative connotation of sacrifice. See, there aren't binary definitions to sacrifice, and this is something our ancestors told us. During my time at UT, I was lucky enough to take a Nahuatl learning language course. As an outcome of this, I have become fascinated with etymology. The word sacrifice is translated to vemana in Nahuatl and derives from two roots, Bentley, meaning the offering, and mana, meaning the spread of. Through this language and cultural consideration, sacrifice represents a type of necessary cycle that enables growth. While the type of sacrifice manifested varies, the essence of sacrifice remains the same. To sacrifice is to offer or give something up in the process of a cycle of growth and life. Reimagining the way I think about sacrifice has enabled me to view my undergraduate trajectory differently. This doesn't take away from the hardship of sacrifices, as by no means are sacrifices ever easy. However, to sacrifice is an outcome of growth, and we are evidence of this. A constellation of offerings brought us here to this beautiful point in life all together. I joined the MALS department early into my undergraduate trajectory as I was introduced to the power of ethics studies through Dr. Valenzuela and her writing of The Colonial Matrix of Power. While my interest in research was broadly social stratification, I knew my focus would be on how inequality shows up and is reproduced in my community. Therefore, adding the MALS major was perfect. As a MALS graduate, I reflect on my gratitude I feel to have had the opportunity to take classes in the department and connect with faculty. As a student, I found solace and unity in this department despite the vastness of UT. The slogan for the MALS department is a home away from home, and I feel this to be very true. As aforementioned, I thematically characterize my experience at UT as one of sacrifice. Inherent in this sacrifice, we have struggle, but also discovery and innovation. It is easy to tell my freshman year self that things would work out now that I have walked the stage, or will soon. But this does without disregarding the type of obstacles that I and other UT students face. There is a unique type of grace that we must give ourselves, having navigated undergrad through a pandemic, ongoing political tribulation, and various other types of hurdles. We made it here, and although the journey was not always smooth, it is our resiliency that speaks volumes. There is specificity to being a MALS student at UT, a university within walking distance of the capital of Texas. The streets that connect UT to the capital are also porous, as political agenda inevitably impacts discourse and action at the university level. There is no doubt that the experience of UT students are shaped by the politics of the state. In the political storms, I, like many students, sought refuge in this department. Although I don't anticipate this challenge will phase out, I have faith in our strength and resiliency. Now I have some words in Spanish. Cuando le dije a mi mamá que iría a estudiar a Austin, en la reacción de ella fueron preguntas. ¿Dónde vivirás? ¿Con quién estarás? ¿Qué comerás? Yo estoy acostumbrada a siempre tener las respuestas para estas preguntas, pero en este momento no las tenía. Yo también no sabía cómo lo iba a hacer, pero estaba determinada a cumplir mis sueños de ir a la universidad. Con mucho esfuerzo y apoyo de mi familia, me encuentro aquí con ustedes. Si soy algo hoy, es por el apoyo que he recibido. Me siento demasiadamente agradecida de estar aquí con ustedes. Yo sé que es costumbre ser humilde de nuestros logros, pero esto es algo especial que se necesita celebrar y recordar. Previamente, dije que una forma de caracterizar mi experiencia en UT es con la palabra sacrificio. Usando la lengua náhuatl, defino sacrificio como el ciclo de ofrecer algo para crecer como un individuo. En esta forma, sacrificio es simplemente una parte de la vida necesaria para alcanzar más. Nuestra presencia aquí y logros reflejan los sacrificios que fueron necesarios para avanzar. Por mí misma, quiero agradecer a mi familia por siempre apoyarme y no dejarme dar por vencido. Para mi mamá, quiero agradecer por abrazarme en momentos duros y sanar mis heridas para que pudiera seguir corriendo. Siento orgullo representar tus sacrificios y vivir un sueño que solo desearía que tú hubieras podido cumplir. Los dejo con unas últimas palabras. Como graduados, especialmente aquellos que son los primeros en atender universidad en su familia, nos sacrificamos para empezar un linaje de progreso. Recuerda lo que se sacrificó para que llegaras aquí y abraza a tus seres queridos fuerte ahora que sigues corriendo. Ciertamente no ha sido camino fácil, pero llegaste y con mi corazón lleno les deseo lo mejor. Se lo merecen. Gracias.
Thank you, Leslie. What a wonderful speech. I also realized when I was listing the staff, I forgot to mention our student worker, Emily Romo Hernandez. And so Emily does amazing work for us, and I wouldn't want her to go unrecognized. So at this point, I want to introduce our graduation speaker. And many of you students will recognize our speaker because you've read her work in our classes in MALS. So our speaker today is Irene Lara Silva. She's the author of 4 poetry collections: Furia, Blood Sugar Canto, Cuicacali, House of Song, and First Poems, 2 chapbooks, Enduring Asecures and Hibiscus Tacos, and a short story collection, Flesh to Bone, which won the Premio Aslan. Irene is the recipient of a 2021 Tasajillo Writers Grant, a 2017 NALAC Fund for the Arts Grant, the final Alfredo Cisneros del Moral Grant Award, and was the fiction finalist for Araujo's 2013 Gift of Freedom Award. Most recently, Irene was awarded the 2021 Texas Institute of Letters Shrake Award for Best Short Nonfiction. Irene is currently a writer-at-large for Texas Highways Magazine and is working on a second collection of short stories titled The Light of Your Body. A new poetry collection, The Eaters of Flowers, is forthcoming from Saddle Road Press in January 2024. Well, I'm very excited about that. So, Irene, will you please join us?
So y'all are gonna have the fun of a speech that I wrote because they didn't give me any instructions. I didn't have any. They just said, come and talk, and I said, okay. And what happens is that the day that y'all invited me to come here and speak, I got involved in a pleito. Not like a punching one, but like for reals, an arguing one. I wanted to punch people, but I'm trying not to, you know. The older I get, the longer it takes to recover from punching people, so I try to limit it to just talking and arguing. Pero, alrighty, so here we go. Serious talk now. But just so that you know where it came from. So this is, like I said, inspired by pleito, but also inspired by love, because I think that's when we need to fight, is any time that it's not necessarily just anger that inspires us to fight, but love. So, okay, serio now. It is a profound honor to be invited to speak to you today, to offer my heartfelt congratulations to all of you in this room, graduates and faculty, family and friends and loved ones. We all know that no one makes it alone. We need the belief and support of others. We even need the challenges and competition que nos da ese coraje to push us through what we thought we couldn't make it through. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I as a poet could best offer you on this morning. And I realized that I wanted to speak to you from the same place that I write poems from. For a long time, I wished I could write beautiful poems full of lovely imagery and musical sounds and soft contemplation, but that's not what I write. And I've made peace with that. What's most important to me is to speak directly from my heart and to offer something useful, something necessary whenever I can. And so I want to offer some reflections for you to take with you. Reflections on humildad, community, and coraje. This is a time of celebration and a time for you to feel proud of what you have accomplished. But as many challenges as you might have overcome to reach this day, it's nothing compared to what's still in front of you. You've got at least 20 or 30 years of struggles to face before you'll even know who you really are. Hopefully, it won't take you that long to understand that being proud of your accomplishments is not in contradiction to being humilde, to being humble. To be humilde is to understand that nothing, not your education, not your career, not your background, not your socioeconomic status, make you better than anyone else. What your education does is give you access. It teaches you to navigate systems. It gives you language and strategies, gives you tools you can use for your benefit and for the benefit of your community. Education without community, without culture, often teaches us that we are only individuals and that we owe nothing to anyone else. Often teaches us to ignore the desire to do or work for the benefit of our communities. But look around this room. None of us are here solely on our own power. From the activists that worked for generations to gain us access to education, to the trailblazing scholars and students that created Mexican American and Latina studies departments across the country. My parents, both born in South Texas, only received a first-grade education in the early 1940s. At the time, Texas didn't enforce truancy laws when it came to Mexican American children. Their labor was needed in the fields. My mother told me that it wasn't until LULAC activists agitated for their education that things changed. In 2018, I was invited to teach a writing workshop in San Marcos at the Centro Cultural Hispano. I didn't know until I was in the building that it had been the segregated school for Mexican and Mexican American students. History is not dead and gone. History and community are all around us, still in motion, still affecting the world we live in and how we live in it. Many of you, like me, saw your parents and others around you have to accept humiliation and poor treatment. And they had to take it, had to eat it. Se lo tuvieron que tragar. But they did so in the hopes that you wouldn't have to. And many of you, like me, saw your parents have to fight for their lives, for their homes, for their rights. And they did it not so that you wouldn't have to fight, but so that you would know how to fight and when to fight. Many of you have been focusing on accomplishments and on a future that's focused on making a better life. But life is more than that. And spirit, or whatever you might call it, your soul, your integrity, your sense of what is right and wrong, is the most important thing. We might think that to succeed in the world, we need to toe the line. We need to keep a cool head. We need to keep our heads down. We need to be strategic. We need to not act like angry Mexicans or like uneducated people. Life will tempt you to lie to yourself over and over again. Will tempt you to tell yourself stories about who you are and what your motives are. Will tempt you to not speak up when you should. Will tempt you not to stand up when you should. Life will ask you to choose over and over again, and every choice will either strengthen your spirit or weaken it. I wrote a poem almost 30 years ago titled Love of People, because I wanted to say something about how love and coraje can be intertwined things, about how love and coraje can feed and sustain each other. Sometimes people will translate coraje as just anger or rage, but coraje is also passion, is also bravery. And coraje that is born from love is a powerful thing. The anger that sparks and spills over when you see injustice done. The passion that sustains you over a career and a life, working where you are called to work, serving where you are called to serve. That is a powerful thing. We might think that coraje isn't necessary, but if your coraje is rooted in your love, especially in your love of your community, when it is rooted in your spirit, in your truth, then your coraje can be the source of your power. Your coraje can guide you in everything you do. Your coraje can protect your spirit, protect your integrity, protect your ability to tell yourself the truth. So that's what I've come here to say. Wrap your hearts in love and coraje. Wrap them tight and carry them high. Let them be the power that propels you through life. Gracias.
Whew. Thank you, Irene. Wow. Let's just sit in a moment with that, shall we? Whew. One more round of applause. Thank you. Well, I guess that seems like a perfect time for us to do some graduation ceremony. So at this point, I'd like to welcome my colleagues, Dr. Danielle Cleland and Dr. Angela Ocampo, who are going to read your names and statements. And so graduates, okay, Luis will help you line up, as he always does. And then you'll come across the stage when your name is read, and you'll get your certificate, and we'll take pictures and stuff.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Danielle Cleland. I'm faculty in MALS, and it's so nice to see everybody here. I'm just going to go to my page here. Okay, are we ready? Veronica? Okay, no, wait. Veronica Marie Alcantar, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies, Mexican American and Latino Studies Distinguished Graduate, and Bachelor of Arts in English. Veronica is incredibly proud of all that she's accomplished over the last 4 years, completing 5 internships, including at the Texas State Capitol, working to publish 5 pieces with the Texas Undergraduate Law Journal, holding 2 officer positions in her pre-law organization, minority women pursuing law, and so much more. She's excited to begin the next phase of her life in Washington, D.C., where she plans on working in Congress before she obtains both her Master of Public Policy and Juris Doctorate degrees. Veronica intends to one day become a civil rights attorney and politician, using her knowledge gained in Mexican American studies to better serve her future clients and constituents. She would like to thank her family, friends, and boyfriend for the immeasurable support they've given her over the years. She wouldn't be here without them. Puro San Antonio. Next, we have Arleth Carolina Amaya, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies, Mexican American and Latino Studies Distinguished Graduate, and Bachelor of Arts in Government. Arleth is grateful for her family and friends who have supported her during her journey as an undergraduate. Cuando adversidad se le presentó en su camino, ella pudo encontrar fuerza y inspiración debido a las personas que la apoyaron y la aconsejaron. She feels forever blessed to be sharing such a beautiful moment with her loved ones. En su carrera profesional, ella mantiene la meta de seguir sirviendo y ayudando a la comunidad latina. Overall, she is excited for a new chapter in her life to begin. El arte más poderoso de la vida es hacer del dolor un talismán que cura, una mariposa que renace florecida en fiesta de colores. Frida Kahlo. Alexa Cabrera, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies, Mexican American and Latino Studies Distinguished Graduate. Today, Alexa feels so honored to be graduating from the University of Texas at Austin. This achievement would not have been possible without many of the people present here today. She first wants to thank the Department of Mexican American and Latino Studies for hosting this graduation. Secondly, she wants to thank the faculty and staff in MALS who guided her throughout her undergraduate years. Without your support, this wouldn't be possible. Por último, quiero dar las gracias a su familia, presente aquí hoy, mamá, papá, hermanos y Carlos. Si no fuera por su cuidado y apoyo, no estaría entre los graduados hoy. Se siento muy honrada y bendecida de tenerlos como su familia, y quiere expresar su gratitud por su cuidado y apoyo a lo largo de los años. Quiere dar las gracias por inculcarle una gran pasión por su educación y por hacer todo lo posible para ponerla en el camino hacia la grandeza. Nunca olvidará los valores importantes que me han transmitido papá y mamá, en particular la perseverancia y la honestidad. Porque la que persevera alcanza. Estas palabras no pueden describir lo importante que son para mí. Una vez más, gracias y sí se pudo. Isabela Melina Castillo de la Garza, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies, Mexican American and Latino Studies Distinguished Graduate, Bachelor of Arts, Government. Isabela is graduating with degrees in Government and Mexican American and Latino Studies with a BDP certificate in Public Policy. Isabela would like to thank her family, friends, classmates, professors, teachers, and advisors. She would not be who she is without all of you. Isabel plans to use the degree she has earned to make the world a better place. Muchas gracias a todos por todo. Leslie Andrea Chavez Valencia, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies, College of Liberal Arts Dean's Distinguished Graduate, Mexican American and Latino Studies Distinguished Graduate, Bachelor of Arts in Race, Indigeneity and Migration, and Bachelor of Arts in Sociology with honors. Leslie is a graduating triple major in sociology, Mexican American and Latino studies, and race, indigeneity, and migration. Growing up in Houston, raised by immigrants, Leslie developed dreams of furthering her education and bringing light to issues impacting her community. With the support of her family and community, Leslie decided to attend UT, being the first in her family to attend college. Throughout this experience, Leslie found solace and connection with faculty and friends who would help her fly. Determined to document the experiences of those living in the U.S. undocumented, Leslie completed an honors thesis and partook in various research apprenticeship programs as an undergraduate student. In the fall of 2024, Leslie will be joining the sociology department at Princeton University as a PhD student, where she will continue to conduct research on immigration, race, stratification, and surveillance. Leslie recognizes her experience as one that would not be possible without the unconditional support she received. For her family, Leslie would like to say, gracias por siempre apoyarme en mis sueños y enseñarme lo importante que no es olvidar mis raíces. No existen suficientes palabras para describir el agradecimiento que Leslie siente en este momento. Como una mariposa afuera del capullo, por la primera vez, Leslie navegó UT en busca de algo familiar. En este proceso hubo obstáculos que debilitaron su forma de volar. Sin embargo, el apoyo de mentores, amigos y familia fortalecieron sus alas otra vez. Por ahora, Leslie siguiera volando sin olvidar de dónde viene. Saray Elizabeth Flores. Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies with special honors. Mexican American and Latino Studies distinguished graduate and Bachelor of Arts in Government. Saray is graduating with a double major in Government and Mexican American and Latino Studies. She will be attending the LBJ School of Public Affairs this fall to get her master's in Public Affairs. She plans to focus on criminal justice reform and immigration policy. Upon her graduation from the LBJ School, she plans to attend law school on the West Coast. Saray would like to thank the department for helping her achieve her academic goals. She has been able to write an honors thesis in the department titled Latinidad in Literature, a Personal Investigation, which allowed her to explore her favorite topics from the curriculum. She would also like to thank her family and friends for pushing her and supporting her endlessly in her pursuit of higher education. Alexandria Rosa Garza is not in attendance, but I will read her message. Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American Latino Studies, Bachelor of Science in Radio, Television, and Film, and Mexican American and Latino Studies distinguished graduate. Alexandria endeavored a lot of work to get to this finish line, along with her MALS studies. She also majored in radio, TV, and film at the Moody College of Communication. She's a first-generation college student and is super proud to be able to represent not only her hard work, but her mother's hard work in supporting her college journey and dreams. Although she is unable to be here today, Alexandria wants to thank all of her family and friends for supporting her during all her 4 years at UT, especially those that are no longer with her. She also wants to give her gratitude and appreciation to her MALS professors that have shown compassion and sympathy not only to her, but to her peers during these crazy times in the world, and how she is also thankful for their understanding of students like her who have to work twice as hard to be here at UT. Lastly, Alexandria would like everyone to know that giving up is not an option. We all must keep going and keep trying because nothing is impossible. Impossible says, I'm possible. Congratulations.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angela Ocampo, and I'm faculty in the department. I will continue reading our illustrious graduates. So let me begin by Teresa de Jesus Gutierrez, who's not in attendance today, but I will read her statement, Bachelor of Journalism, Journalism. Teresa is graduating with a Bachelor of Journalism and a government minor. She's a first-generation college student from Laredo, Texas, and completed her undergraduate degree with the help and support of her educators and family. Teresa's mom, Elvira, who's celebrating here today, is her ultimate inspiration and empowered her all throughout her life. Her mom taught her that with time, hard work, and patience, any dream can come true. Teresa also writes that her degree and experiences could not have been possible without her mother's love, support, encouragement, and words of wisdom. She also wants to thank Dr. Maggie Rivas Rodriguez for all of her wonderful guidance and support, along with all of the amazing Voces Oral History Center. Upon graduation, Teresa will take part in the Texas Law Pipeline program to prepare for law school admissions. Michael Sergio Peña, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies, Mexican American and Latino Studies Distinguished Graduate Bachelor of Arts, Government. Michael would like to thank his family for traveling to Austin to be here as he celebrated for his achievement at the University of Texas at Austin. It means a great deal to him that you're able to see him walk this stage. He hopes that he has made you proud and will continue to do so as he attends law school in the fall. Michael also thanks you for the unwavering support he has received from each of you over the last 4 years and wants to let you all know how much he loves you. Luis Gerardo Roa Santoyo, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies with special honors. Mexican American and Latino Studies Distinguished Graduate. Bachelor of Arts, Race, Indigeneity, Migration. Bachelor of Arts, Plan 2. Luis was born in Irapuato, in Guanajuato, and raised in East Arlington, Texas. Thanks to his background, communities, and education, Luis's understanding of the world has expanded indefinitely since arriving on the 40 acres. Luis has a passion for studying health and education equity and is currently working as a research assistant developing a food studies major with Dr. Carla Peña. He is also interned at the Center for the Study of Race and Democracy and cared for over 40 plants and tutor at a local Austin public school. Luis strongly believes that everyone is deserving of a fulfilling and joyful life that supports their hopes, dreams, and imaginations, and wants to dedicate his life to helping achieve this. He is forever grateful for all of those that came before him and is committed to those that will come after. Luis quiere agradecer a su familia por el amor y cariño que le han dado. Nunca podrá repagar lo que le han dado y quiere que sepan que este logro es de ellos. Sus padres han trabajado incansablemente para darle la oportunidad de cumplir sus sueños, y él quiere que sepan que la lucha ha valido la pena. Luis wants his brother and sister to know that they both hold half of his heart and that their happiness and fulfillment is all that he wants. His time here was not easy, but he wants everyone to know that it was worth it. Luis is extremely proud of himself. Natalie Nicole Torres, Bachelor of Arts, Mexican American and Latino Studies, Bachelor of Science and Art, Human Development and Family Sciences. Este diploma está dedicado a las muchas noches de tanto llanto, de risas y de amor. Está dedicado a los que se han ido y han venido, a los que han apoyado desde el principio y a los que han llenado nuestro vaso con sabiduría. Ha llegado el día en que toca llenar el vaso del mundo alrededor. Todo el tiempo dedicado no será en vano. La fe, el amor y la curiosidad serán lo que guía al estudiante a ser maestro de sus pasiones. Allison Annette Villasana, Master of Science, Community and Regional Planning. Allison was born and raised in 76104 Fort Worth, Texas, the zip code area with the lowest life expectancy for the state of Texas. She's graduating with a master's degree to become a displacement prevention planner to mitigate the forces of gentrification in Texas cities like Austin and her hometown. Allison wants to build a place that loves her community back. Allison le gustaría dar muchas gracias a su comunidad y familia. Allison fue criada por una mujer que iba a la escuela con el hombre que le disparó a JFK y su madre y hermana. Ella dedica todo su éxito a su comunidad. Ella ha decidido pasar el resto de su vida construyendo una ciudad entera que ama a su comunidad. Cuando era niña, Allison le preguntó a su mamá qué debería hacer cuando ella fuera grande. Su mamá le dijo, lo que más te dé coraje. Allison escribe que le manda a decir gracias a su mamá por su paciencia, que la quiere y que promete ponerse las pilas. Luis Felipe Avilés González, Doctor of Philosophy, Iberian and Latin American Languages and Cultures, Graduate Portfolio, Mexican American, Latino Studies. As an adolescent who attended school on both sides of the Mexico-US border, Luis regularly confronted comments about his pocho Spanish and his accented English. Neither was considered standard, and both were potential impediments to the future he imagined. Defying odds, he graduated high school and gained admission to UCLA, where he would again encounter linguistic discrimination. Throughout his academic history, Luis has strived to advocate for minoritized communities within educational spaces. As a UCLA undergraduate, he promoted diversification in admissions through Sinachtil and the Raza Youth Empowerment Projects by raising community consciousness and building leadership skills to incentivize youth and their families to seek higher education. Through tutoring and tutor training in the Academy and Advancement Program, he championed the goal of providing relevant and inclusive learning. As a graduate student, he supported inclusion as a tutor supervisor, and faculty in the Summer Immersion Program for freshmen and transfer students of color, and as a mentor in the McNair Scholars Program, working with rising seniors of color. As a PhD degree candidate, Luis' attention has remained focused on populations underrepresented on our campuses. He has centered his efforts on Latinx and indigenous communities through teaching, as well as through outreach activities that celebrate our heritage and that educate our communities. As a member of the professoriate, he will be most eager to contribute to knowledge that is grounded in community practices and to continue to foster community-facing initiatives which have been crucial to his own success and well-being.
How about one more round of applause? So this concludes our ceremony, but it is only the beginning. We wish you so much good luck going forward. We also want to thank all of you for being here and joining us in this celebration. We want to keep celebrating. We like to celebrate around here. And so we want to invite you to our reception, which is in the ballroom upstairs. There are going to be volunteers outside of this room who will tell you where you need to go. We ask that you remain seated until the faculty have left and the students have recessed. One last thing that I just want to say to you, graduates, before we go is remember who you are, remember who you've been, and remember to set your sights on anywhere you want to go, because you can do it. The world is yours, and we look forward to seeing all of your successes in the future. Don't forget, you have a home away from home right here. Congratulations, class of 2023.